I think negative body image is how you think of yourself, as in your personality, your mind, your confidence, all different internal aspects as well as outer aspects, such as the way you look, the way you walk, the way you smell, anything to do with those negative views.
You have to get your waist trainer on, you have to get in the gym, you have to get the shape, you have to have the perfect arms, legs, stomach, everything. So definitely, and if you don't, you just don't feel right.
I think I imagine not being happy with the way you are. That's a bit vague, but like you as you, there's something not okay with that. There's bits that you want to change, or there's bits that should look different.
Kim Kardashian, she had a baby, and prior to having a baby, she put on loads of weight. And prior to actually getting pregnant, she was, an icon. Everyone thought she was attractive and sexy. She had, a flat stomach and curves and whatnot. And now there's so much pressure to kind of be like her.
It is a scary aspect to look at a young person now from when I was younger and see how much they've changed, how much they're into the way they look and into the way somebody else looks at them compared to just enjoying themselves.
It affects young women straight from school. I mean, when I was 14, I was definitely thinking about makeup. I was definitely thinking about, having the best clothes and just, being the skinniest and everything.
If you go to a mixed school or just, that girls and boys, you have your basic sex education, how we grow. But then there are those that grow beautifully. So everyone grows differently, everyone looks different.
Not everyone, has the perfect body image, not everyone is perfect. So I really do think it is down to just being purely educated from a young age, an appropriate age.
I don't think young girls are taught enough because it's no longer on the curriculum to teach them about sex education because of how it may make a child feel and stuff. But I learnt it in school when I was younger, and I think that really broadened my ideas about women and how they feel and how they look and what happens with your body.
I think it is incredibly important to teach young men also about the development of women. I feel that, the education that everybody's had, like we're just completely not in, sex education anyway in the UK is incredibly poor.
With young boys, their first experience or say sexual experience would be through porn. And a lot of porno stars tend to be prim and proper and everything is neat and tucked in and tidy, and you kind of just assume that every woman is like that when reality they're not.
I think that nowadays they just brush on it. Women have breasts, boys have this, girls have that, and it's not necessarily how you feel. How does a woman feel? How does a woman, operate? How does society help her feel like that? These are all stuff that I learned in school that I no longer see.
It's quite difficult to say whether it should be schools or that it is either schools or parents that are, doing something wrong. I don't think it's like an either or question. For me, it's more that everybody plays a contribution in how young women grow up.
I don't think it's any one person's responsibility. I think it plays a part from both roles. You spend as much time with your parents as you do with a teacher.
It shouldn't be all down to the parents having to tell, there's no correct way of bringing up your kids. So, and everybody has a completely different approach. So I don't think you can necessarily just put all the blame on parents.
I think it's a joint thing that they have to work together to do it. So parents and teachers can always talk. A parent is always welcome to come into the school and talk to the teacher if they feel that a teacher can support them in a situation.
That stage of your life, you're spending most of your time in school anyway, 5 days a week, then in sixth form as well. You're you're seeing these faces every day, day in, day out. So they ought to, play a big role in, educating.
That I think is the best way to bring up a young person, male or female.
Young girls are not being taught enough about, their bodies whilst they're growing up. And developing into young women. I'd say we ought to really that should be pushed. Definitely, it isn't just the role of the media. It's everybody plays a part in it.
I have a responsibility to help make sure that they're safe and to make sure that they are happy with who they are. Confidence. When you're confident within yourself, I know it's an easy thing to say, but when you really try to be confident within yourself, it changes life. It changes lives. Your self-esteem.
It just makes you a stronger person.
As long as you've got a good basis and you're informed about that, I think that's the most important thing, really.